Oh, they may be playing football, and the crowd is yelling, kill the referee. But no matter what the score, when the clock strikes 4, everything stops for tea.
Hi and welcome to Spill the Tea, the show for British expats and all those that love all things British. My name's Ian.
And my name's Camme. I'm sitting in for Sam today, who's working on her Rocking for Rescue's 80s verbal. Hey Sam, happy to be here.
Well, we got a bit of a delayed start today. We had a bit of a technical issue. We had no internet in the building at all. So we are now kind of running off a cell hotspot. So hopefully this is going out to you guys just as well as it should do. And but yeah, I know we're about whatever we are. Doesn't matter if you're watching this after the fact, but if you are, then I probably shouldn't have said anything and you'd have been none the wiser. But if you are watching live, then you'd have been like, well, where the heck are they? But we're here now. And so is Camme.
Hello.
Thank you for stepping in for Sam.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here.
It'll be good.
We get to catch up, finally.
I know. Well, we've known each other for 300,000 years.
Exactly. We're looking pretty good.
We're not bad.
Yeah.
And we just haven't had a chance to chat for a while. So then I called you and said, hey, because Sam's actually on network television today. She's doing an advert for her 80s hairball. I believe she's actually all dressed up 80s style.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Fun.
So, and in fact, the way this show's run, she probably could have done that and then come over and join us.
She could have done. I'm glad I'm here.
Well, exactly.
I got to do it.
So we've talked about you in the past. We've referred to you in previous shows.
I've watched every show.
You're the one.
I'm the one. The one.
So
yes.
So, we've known each other probably about 20-something years. You were 4 at the time, obviously. Yeah.
Yes.
But tell us a little about yourself, Camme.
Oh,
and while you're doing
lovely.
that, I'm actually going to share this thing out because I couldn't do that in time on the last one. So
Right.
Talk amongst yourself.
Good. I want to talk about it. Okay. So we have known each other for about over 20 years. And way back, my first job with you was I was a little cute robot called Cutie One. And that was my first job with Show Creators. I was a cute little robot. And we used to do lots of events and we used to travel around. And that was when it all began, working for Show Creators. And I think our paths have crossed a lot. I mean, we have lots in common in London. So I was a dancer like Ian and Amanda. And lots of performing, working at Disney, working at Universal. So lots of things like that we've had in common for a long time. And then eventually the company brought me here to Las Vegas, which is where, I'm back now. I've been here for a year, but I was here for about 8 years before. And working with Show Creators quite a lot, actually, on various different production gigs. So it's pretty cool that we kind of go in and out of each other's lives so often.
It's true. One more sentence and I'm going to be with it.
I have so much to talk about.
I'm sure you do.
And what was really exciting, because you kind of have spoken about me before on the show, because one of your guests, I believe it was, is it Sandy
yes.
Curtis, right? She went to my ballet school that I went to when I was 11 years old, called the Legat. That not many people have heard of, let alone meeting someone that's actually gone there.
I know. I was pretty shocked about that.
Oh my gosh, I know.
And then it turned out to be a jihadi training camp.
I know. Which you gave me the rundown on that one day. You're like, did you see the newspaper?
How did it go? A private ballet school, with all the highest quality, a boarding school, right?
Boarding school.
Beautiful estate out there in Sussex?
In Mark Cross, specifically near Tunbridge Wells.
Okay.
Yes.
And ended up being in the news as being a jihadi training camp.
But what's even scary is that me and Ian, when we went back there, which I know you spoke about briefly on the show, and we stole one of my old school desks, we spoke to these people.
We acquired memorabilia.
We stole from them.
We acquired memorabilia. We didn't steal.
That's
Actually, we're not in the UK. We can't be arrested for it anyway.
Right.
So, yes, we stole it.
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah, no,
it's
it is.
so crazy. We're like, we met those people. But yeah, that was really cool, though, to see that show with Sandy and just to hear some of the things that she was saying. And I would love to talk to her one day. It's a good job that I wasn't here that day, because we would have hijacked the show and we would have just spoken about that the entire time.
And I'm back with you now fully on, because the way this works is I actually have to share out to all the different groups and different places that wonderfully accept our show. And thank you for all those pages and groups that do so. As always, you can please share and like, let us know, let your friends know. I'm a bit discombobulated
Are you?
now.
We don't
right
seem
now.
it, but
Well, and I was fine. I mean, Travis was running around like the headless chicken trying to
yes,
get
always.
everything working, and I was pretty chilled. But you know,
Now we
now I'm like, I don't even know what I'm saying. So it is what it is. But anyway, but yes, but please do share and like.
Yes.
Go and check out what we've got going on at spillthetealive.com and all the other things that we get to do with this show.
You know what might make you feel better?
What?
I have gifts. Jammy Dodgers.
You've brought... what?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
I did
yeah,
see
yeah.
these on the chair. I'm like, are they just for you?
Limited edition. Oh yeah. You may get one.
Yeah, you're
Cream
just
egg.
showing me. You're not actually going to share
Showing you
them.
how happy I am to have all these
Look
treats.
what I've got.
Penguins.
You've got penguins?
Yes. And then I thought, are you still on the keto diet? Because that won't really work.
No, clearly
Oh,
not.
good. Then fingers. Yay.
Yeah, well, I'm
So
supposed to be
that's
back
all
on the
for you.
wagon, but,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
summer's coming. I don't know. Well,
It's
screw
difficult,
that. I'm
isn't
having...
it? Yeah. So pick your.
I think it's going to have to be a penguin, probably.
I remembered you liked penguins.
I do like
From
penguins.
way back.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what's been going on? Let's see what's we got the feed here. So right, yep. My cousin Mike. Oops, still buggered. What is the show? Even though we're on air, it's still buggered. Thank you,
dear.
appreciate that. That's my cousin. Love that.
We'll keep calm and carry on.
Yeah, we shall keep calm and carry on. So I've almost finished my tea.
Oh, I
actually.
haven't even started.
You should do. So now, headlines-wise, this is something we've been doing a little bit. I guess it's the coronavirus thing.
Absolutely.
Which when we first started out the show, we were not really wanting to use the Brexit term because it's divisive, and we still stay away from politics. You know, but I almost feel like the corona thing is becoming, or COVID-19 as it is known, is now becoming that. Do you keep talking about it, or do we let other people deal with
Yes.
that, and we just live in a vacuum? But
Yeah.
the problem is that it's so, like 2 weeks ago, we were like, well, is this going to be a thing or is it not going to be a thing? Oh, and you know, it's just sort of, we'll see.
Right, it'll pass. Yeah.
But it's just growing exponentially, of
becoming a
course,
thing,
globally.
yep.
So you can't really ignore it. And
No.
every time you turn on the TV and radio in the UK radio or TV, and over here too, but particularly in the UK, I've noticed that it's all corona all the time.
Yeah, it is, absolutely.
So what do you think? I mean, what do you think is where do you think we're at with it?
Well, yeah, and I was looking, I think in the UK, I think it's 51 cases today,
Right.
gradually
I
creeping
think
up.
So, yeah.
I'm never one to really panic about that, and I'm not panic, but I mean, I really should. I never really hand sanitize. I never really, pay attention to that, which in some ways it may be a good thing. In other ways, I should probably step it up now. Yeah, I'm definitely taking notice, whereas a couple of weeks ago I wasn't.
Right.
So yeah, it's pretty scary. And I was looking on the news about the hotel in Tenerife, because of course I used to live there for a while as well.
Oh, right.
And quarantined in that hotel, like 600
yeah.
people, but they're gradually
Yeah.
some of them are getting out now, and yeah, it's pretty scary. It is scary.
It's true. I mean, and what are your thoughts? Tell us, wherever you are you personally feeling like you want to start what they call? I mean, the thing is, there are those people who are being cautious about it already. There are those that are sort of in that middle ground, which I think where I am at right now.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's like, should I not? But I mean, obviously over here it's a little different. And of course, there's those that are giving it no credence at all, which is fine. And we don't really know yet. But I mean, this morning the British government, kind of announced their plan for it. So let us know what your thoughts are. Where you're at? Are you preparing for it? Are your governments wherever you are around the world? Are they really sort of gearing up for this? Have you got lots of cases of it already?
Yeah, you affected it all.
Here in the US, it's. I mean, obviously, it's a thing, but it's just notably not as acute as it is in many other places.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's funny, actually, because we were talking about, it's my husband's 40th this year, and he wanted to go to Italy. So we were looking at specifically Italian cruises.
Right.
And it was literally like the same day he'd been looking, and then he came back around. He's like, we're not going.
Yeah, really.
Italy.
Yeah. Well, I noticed on LBC they had a commercial on there, and the big marketing campaign. I can't even remember what the product was, so obviously it wasn't that effective. But they were like, apply now and win this, win this trip to Italy. So your day could go from being this, and it was all sort of busy hustle bustle, to this, and it was the sounds of Italy. But I just thought it's you could go from this hustle bustle to the sounds of Italy, be like, huh! But so
Oh
yeah,
gosh.
but live events and everything are starting to
yeah.
be affected, and
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yes,
So
yes,
I don't
yes.
know. I mean, here in Las Vegas, it's going to be it's going to be a big issue. I mean, if it's a sort of thing that economically speaking, it could be a big deal, particularly here in a town that relies on
Absolutely.
tourism
Tourism.
and everything. So
Yeah.
yeah, well, I guess
Yeah.
we'll just have to see what happens. But
Yes. Keep washing your hands. Keep using
well,
the
and that
hand
was the
sanitizer.
funny thing. The Prime Minister this morning kind of gave his plan and his speech about what they're doing and their intentions, and it just seemed weird having the government tell you the best plan forward is to wash your hands.
Yes,
I mean,
know.
when
You're
that's
expecting more, aren't
when
you?
that's your front line of defense, you're
I
like,
know. I know.
okay, zombie apocalypse, here we
I
come.
know.
But and here's the
know.
thing: I noticed a couple of people I know kind of are in the giving it too much attention. It's become a bit of a storm in the
Yeah.
proverbial teacup, or mug today. Yeah. But the thing is, it's not about the numbers; it's about the percentage.
Right.
So right now, yes, there's I think like 90,000 people around the world, of which 3,000 people have succumbed to it. But it's not really that. It's what they're estimating as the mortality percentage, which is about 2%. They're even saying it could be 3%. Whereas the regular flu is like 0.1%, I
Right.
think.
Right.
So there is a big difference there. And then you think about the Spanish flu in 1918. That was between 10 to 20%. They're not entirely sure, but it was at least 10%. So I mean, obviously that was a lot worse. But I mean, that killed millions, of course. And it's very different these days, and we're able to communicate that difference, that information globally a lot quicker than we used to be able to. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens, but if not, we're just gonna hunker down here in the studio.
Well, yeah.
That's it. We'll just isolate
know.
everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd
It's
invite you
nice.
all
It's
over,
comfortable.
but then that defeats the object. We're just going to stay here by ourselves.
Nice and big, comfortable. Yeah.
Exactly.
We're good. We'll be fine.
I know. So what's gone on for you headlines-wise? What have you noticed this week?
Well, I have been really into England lately. Not only watching your show, but as you get older, just feeling you want to have that connection with your
Yeah.
roots. So I've been watching so many things on TV. Oh, one of which you were talking about recently was Fleabag. I got up to date with the second season of that, which is amazing.
Yeah. I watched that.
Yes. I mean, you were asking about headlines. That's not that was my headlines
That's
in
your
my
headline.
world.
My headlines is I watch TV.
Yes, I know. So what was my point? Oh, one of the other things as well, which was a really cool event that happened in England a couple of days ago, actually, was, you remember Only Fools and Horses, Sir David Jason, who
Yeah.
I know you're a big fan of. He had an event where he was, playing that role. I mean, he's 80 years old now, but they actually did a setup of the original set. And they sold tickets to come to this fundraiser so people could walk
nice.
through the set and look at the old yellow van and meet David Jason. And he was, in his old Del Boy character and some of the other characters too. There was a bit of not an uproar, but I know a lot of fans were upset because the golden ticket, which allowed you to sort of see everything, was £375, I believe. So a lot of people, were upset that it wasn't kind of open to so many people, but it was also for charity. So, those things are always tricky. I think they had super cheap tickets to just get in and see the set, which alone would be pretty cool.
Well, that was
to
probably
get
a
into
Del
that
Boy
apartment.
scam by itself, wasn't
Right?
it? It's probably
Sounds
like,
a bit dodgy,
it's a
doesn't
golden
it?
ticket. Yeah, it does sound. It's very. I think it's perfect. He's just making a little fast pound
So
out of
funny.
the situation.
So funny. I would love to have seen that. I would love to have done.
Yeah.
What a cool
And
event.
Greece did that recently over here in Los Angeles. They had Olivia Newton-John and John
did
Travolta
they?
who got dressed up in the full, the Danny Zuko and the Sandy outfit, and they
Fun.
did the same thing. They had the cars there, they had the set, and they did a meet and greet to celebrate. I guess it was probably the 40th anniversary of Greece. I'm thinking. No, it's got to be. It's
Probably more than that, right? Oh, I don't know. I
I'm
don't
not
think
sure.
I want to know.
I don't know if I want to admit to it, but yeah, they did that. So it's kind of a thing, I think, for some of these old shows.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. It takes you back and
It does. It
back
does.
to my roots.
I saw something this week, which was they've done a concert with Whitney Houston.
Oh.
Oh, you say. But what they've done is there's this company who's created this hologram of Whitney and kind of put her in this show with dancers and made a whole production show. And apparently it didn't go as well as I mean, conceptually, I think it was there, but they decided to premiere this thing in all places. See, there's a picture of her right now of this hologram of Whitney on stage, but it was in Sheffield, which, of course, if Sam was here, she's from Sheffield, and will tell you it's the cultural centre of the universe. But I think if you're going to get an honest opinion, you're going to get it from the people in Sheffield.
Oh, yes.
And apparently it wasn't that great. I think the show started and there was rather than this big reveal, they had a slight glitch and she sort of flickered in background like, oh, hi.
See, everyone has technical problems, not just us.
They're not just us. But then they started the show and people were like, oh, okay, maybe this could be good. And it was, although she was slightly elongated, apparently, which you could see from those pictures. But when she did her first kind of banter after the opening song, she said, welcome to Whitney Houston live. And at that point, you're like, yeah, no, you're not live. You're very much not live. But and I don't think the people of Sheffield felt like their intelligence was being sort of insulted a little bit. So they started heckling.
Oh no!
But of course she can't respond because it's a pre-programmed thing.
Yeah.
So
oh
yeah.
no, that's. Oh,
but I don't know. I mean, they've done this with other
unfortunate.
stars before.
Was it Prince? No, Michael Jackson. I mean.
Well, they did it with Tupac a few years back.
Oh, that's right.
And I think it's cool as a thing, but I'm not sure it's something that's viable as a show. Now, in Japan, I know they do this with some of these animated characters. They do live concerts and they have thousands of people turn up and love it. But the difference is that's already an animated character. You're not trying to recreate a living person or a not living person.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, I love the technology of it. I think it's great. Although it's actually, I believe they were probably using a very old technique, which is called Pepper's Ghost, which is a magician's effect.
Okay.
But the application of it's cool, if that's what they're doing. But I didn't quite go down as well as they hoped, I think, and Sheffield let them know.
Interesting. Well, good for them if it's their town. If you don't like it, say so.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't think I'm into that either. Again, it sounds like a great idea. And the technology is amazing, but it doesn't
we could
do
be
it for me.
holograms. We might get replaced by holograms. We might get just replaced. Period. That might be
funny.
it. So, anything else you got on your news list? Or
my news. Well, there's what else is going on? Oh, Richard Branson. So he's so much going on. So his cruise in terms of having passengers, I think set sail in April.
Virgin Cruise it?
Virgin. It's the Scarlet Lady is actually the name of the cruise.
Oh, okay.
And it's like an adults only cruise.
Yeah.
And
that's right. His tagline
fun.
was like adults only. No, was it? No, it says no kidding or something. No kidding,
funny.
and then
cute.
Literally. I think
that's cute.
That's the idea.
I love cruises, it's a fun one. So it has a tattoo parlor on it. It has like all sorts of really, really cool stuff. So Richard Branson said that for his 70th, which is coming up in July, he's actually going to get a tattoo. So he said it on TV, so he can't back out now.
Why not?
Yeah, on his new ship.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I love cruising.
I've
would
never
love
done
to do
one.
that. You've worked on them, haven't you?
I did an inaugural cruise.
Oh, did you?
Two inaugural cruises.
Right.
They were cruises to nowhere. They were for media and everything. So they went out.
Oh, that's different.
And went around and came back, and that was it.
Oh, that's...
And then had an issue getting back in because if you've ever done a cruise, the immigration people come on board,
yes,
and kind of check you out, right? That's what they do. So
you go through all of that before you get on board, like you would going through passport control.
They did this on this particular cruise as you were leaving.
Interesting.
But the fact is, it never actually stopped anywhere, and so I've had this a couple of times, and fortunately I don't have it anymore. But back in the day, there was a situation where they said, "Well, no, you went to Mexico, So you've left the country. So and it was between visas, not between visas, but it was I had an extension and I had to go back to the UK. You know, like you used to do.
Yeah.
And there was this whole big thing, and I was going to get sent back and everything, and they then realised they made a phone call and then realised that the cruise ship actually hadn't gone anywhere, and so I didn't technically leave the country.
Right. Oh God.
Well, maybe I did. I mean, you know, but this has all been checked out. So anyway, it was a close call, but
that's a bit scary.
it was a bit
That
scary.
would have been a real pain, wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
we don't like that. We don't like that.
No.
So what's been going on with the comments here? We posed the question. So So Mike's saying the benefits of living on a small Greek island, population 3,000 in the winter. That will help.
Wow.
Yes, that's like self-isolation right there.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah. Suzanne, in Canada, we have 18 cases and the government's wisdom is to put them in self-isolation in their own homes. Well, yeah, I just think it's kind of a whole... I think the World Health Organization says we're in uncharted territory
That's
at
it.
this point, which, I mean, it feels like a movie. It feels like this is, you know, I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen here? But, well, I mean, yeah, there's all sorts of weird stuff going on. Oh, hi, Charlotte. That's my niece is watching.
Hey, Charlotte.
Sue's saying, I'm hoping for the best with the virus because I hope to come to Vegas this year. Waiting for concert schedules. I'm assuming that's for Mr. Daniel Emmett. Yeah. We'll see what he's doing. And then Greece has one case up in the north. That's Mike again. The government cancelled all carnival celebrations in the entire country. Overkill. But yeah, I still think it's down to the percentages. So it's got to play the numbers. I mean, we're in Las Vegas. We know about playing the numbers here.
Yes.
But I don't know. You know, we'll see what happens there.
We'll see what happens. Is your mum watching today?
The mum's watching today.
Hi, Anne.
She says she's keeping an eye on us.
Ooh.
Like you do. So what I thought
Trouble.
we would do, here's the thing that I thought we would do today, is, you know, we're in this studio. I think I've referred to it a few times as being a place where lots of stuff happens.
Yes,
and,
it does.
You know, we have our like live casting companies here, which do all the hands and everything. And then we have, all sorts of different features and facilities. So I thought, and bearing in mind the technical issues we've had this morning, I'm a little nervous to do this, but we committed to do it.
Good luck.
So I thought we would do a little kind of walk around the studio as quickly as possible because it might take a while, just to kind of show you guys where we are and what happens around here. So to kind of tee it, is that...
that's great. You know, we talk about so many things going on. And, people need to see it.
Is this... I mean, we're running on this. Are we still doing this? Is it still going to work? Yes. All right. Travis is confident.
He's got this.
So what we'll do is that just to tee it up, we're going to show a little kind of clip, which is sort of basically our kind of advertising clip of the studio, so you can get a sense of what the place is, generally speaking. And then while that's happening, I'm going to go out and meet you guys there in about 60 seconds. So let's give this a go. Who knows what's going to happen, but we'll find out.
Welcome to Show Creators Studios, Las Vegas' premier entertainment production studio.
I feel like pieces of me falling out, like pieces of me. You got them falling out. I feel so incomplete without you around. Without you around.
Welcome to Ben Sunday School, starring Ben Gillette, located at the very cool Show Creator Studios. Here he is, preach of love, Mr. Ben Gillette.
Hello, you angel-headed hipsters.
So, I ask you this question. What will you create?
So the tour starts right here in reception. We actually went with a kind of like a sort of a very rustic kind of design intent for the whole place. So that's why you see these kind of different elements here. We actually have different companies that are based here too. This is just a few of them. There's a few we don't actually have up there yet. who occupy the space, and we actually use it as a co-sharing environment as well. So there's about 6 different companies, 6 or 7, I'm not sure entirely how many there are now, that are also based here at the studio. So, and our jukebox here. Gotta love my jukebox. Gotta love it. 1976. So coming through here, I think we've told you a little bit about the icon castings, life casting with the hands and everything. So this is actually the workshop for life cast, and where we find Amanda doing what she does over here.
Hi.
How's it going? So this is the center for everything that happens with Lifecast now, and we also build other stuff and maintain the studio from here as well, of course. So now she's working on. I actually know whose hand that is, but you're going to tell us.
I am. It is Mike Tyson's right hand.
Mike Tyson's fist.
Yes.
That's crazy. So what sort of work has to go into that before it's going to...
Yeah.
And in fact, it's going to end up... You could stay on that one. It's going to end up looking...
So there's a little bit of work to do, clean-up work to do on this. And,
Here's one I made earlier.
And then once it's ready, then we
yeah.
get to paint it and create like a bronze finish, a pewter, whatever that finish is.
So this guy, this is Ernie Shavers. He was a very well-known boxer of his day. He took Muhammad Ali to the full distance, and so that's him. So that's kind of a cool one. So Mike's going to end up looking like that, and then we've got a couple more back here. We've got Pete Rose, the baseball player, back here. Then over here we've got Penn Jillette and Teller. Penn and Teller, the magicians. Of course, he's holding a knife like you would. And then we have, what else we got?
This here is a mould of Mary Wilson's hand. This is, we're doing a run
Stop in the Name of Love, isn't it?
of 250 pieces. So this is her hand. As you can see, this is the negative. So we pour this up.
And over the back here, I'm not going to show you because they're actually kind of top secret. But they're not top secret because one's Roger Daltrey of The Who and the other one is Joe Elliott of Def Leppard. But they're going to get revealed very soon. So they're there, and if you caught it in background, well done. And then we even do little lips. That's kind of cute. Look at that. Nice and shiny lips. Not mine, obviously. All right, so moving on. We're going to take you into our... Oh, actually, you know what? Let's go into our studio. Here, just to prove the point, Camme is still here doing her thing right there. She's taking a break at this moment. But this is our set. This is the behind the scenes look at Spill the Tea set. And you wouldn't even believe it, but there's actually another show that happens right next to us in this room, over here on this set that we built. So, all right, I'll be back in a minute.
Okay, good.
All right. So now we're going to go through into our main studio. Now this is where a lot of different things happen. Right now it's set up for an aerial class. We have 5 or 6 different aerial points in here, so that's going to be happening shortly, just after the show. But this room is really kind of like a Swiss Army knife. We do all sorts of different stuff in here. We have a stage set here, so we can do workshops from it. We can do all sorts of kind of different performances there. Then we have a kitchen area over here, which you just need when you're spending a lot of time. We get a lot of shows and productions that end up being in here for weeks, so it's kind of nice for them to have a place to make stuff. This actually used to be the Spill the Tea set when we first started, about the first 10 episodes, I think, where it was done right here. That's now kind of more just a generic sort of spot. Little corner stage over there. Again, in the early shows, that was in background. And then over here, we have mirrors, and we have Travis in the shot right there. So we can have this for dance, we can have this for any kind of rehearsals, or we just drape that in and this becomes like this sort of black corner for shooting against or whatever is necessary. So then we're going to go upstairs. In fact, why don't you go ahead there, Travis? Oh, look at that. He's sprinting up the stairs. And tripping over twice.
Okay.
Excellent. This is our photo studio up here. It's just for like headshots, onesies and twosies kind of things. Man, this is getting exhausting. So this is, I say one thing we set up a short while ago. We may actually end up doing Spill the Tea up here. We're not sure yet because we've got some other plans for that room down there. It'll be the 3rd time we'll have moved it, but we'll see. We'll see. And it actually gets kind of warm up here. Heat rises. And then we've got makeup and a dressing room at the end there. Stuff, and more stuff. All right, so now we're going to go upstairs. Now the thing is, there's actually a whole other studio the other side of that wall, which honestly we haven't got time to get over there. right now, but that's got green screens, it's got recording studios, meeting space. So I'll show you that later. All right, so we will go upstairs real quick. All right, we're running. We're going up the stairs. This is the most exercise I've had in the last 6 months, as is for Travis as well. This is our offices, our production offices. Mine's the messy desk. Amanda's is somewhat organised. Travis never really does any work, so that's why his desk is empty. And then we're going to go just through here, and through here is our second podcast studio. Oh, different companies. These are the two different companies that, well, oh my gosh. I'll be ready in a second. We also build robots. These are something that sort of have been around for a long time for us. They're not robots, they're costumes. They're actually very high-tech costumes. And we've been at Walt Disney World with this guy. Actually, we've been everywhere with this guy. And even with Michael Jackson back in the day. Early 90s, that was on the Dangerous Tour, and more at Disney, and that was with Blue Man Group. And finally, oh good, I can take a seat. We've got our secondary podcast studio. Now this one we use for shows and producers that will come in just to do various different shows on a weekly basis. So we have like 4 or 5 different shows right now that are just on a rotation. They come in here and they set it for their different look. And you know, we have the screens again. I'm going to take a seat, and that's about it in terms of the studio. I hope that gave you kind of a bit more of an insight into where we are in this building. But for now, I'm going to get back downstairs to the studio while you're watching a BFF with Eve Dawes. Today, I think she's talking about microneedling.
Thanks guys. Okay, so this is a bit different today. I'm actually going to interview someone, so I'm not just sat on the couch on my own, and we're going to talk about microneedling. So guys, don't tune out on me. This is for you too. Tons of guys are doing this. It's really important to be aware of what's going on and to find out more information. I'm not a pro at this, so I have with me Kevin, a licensed esthetician, and we're going to jump right into this and find out what is microneedling.
Microneedling, it's a medical term, if you will, is collagen induction therapy. Basically, it is a treatment that remodels your collagen and kind of gets you back to that youthful appearance.
And what are the short and long-term benefits? Can you see it instantly from the first session? How many sessions are needed?
So with your first session, you're probably about 10 days post-treatment, you're going to notice a nice glow to your skin. It's very rejuvenating. And that is a short-term benefit. As our skin does its own kind of turnover process, that's going to kind of go away and you'll need to retreat. Long-term though, as it remodels that collagen, you are looking at less fine lines, and it's preventative too. So you kind of get a new starting point in the aging process.
So I'm about 7-8 days in from my first treatment, and I noticed, so first 24 hours it was red, not as red as I was expecting. There wasn't actually any pain. I was expecting a lot more pain from it because it is needling, but she numbed me up really good for like 30 minutes beforehand, and then went to work, and it really wasn't, yes, you can hear the needles. It's like being at the dentist, right? They numb you up and you can hear it, but it's not actually painful.
No, it's really not.
And then I was at work. You don't need any downtime. It's fine. It's like 24 hours without
24 hours, no makeup. So there's that, and everyone's different and handles these things differently. So I always prepare you for anywhere from 24 to 72 hours of redness. But after that 24-hour period, you can put on makeup to disguise.
And then about 7 days of dryness I've had, so just extra moisture, extra oils, like just keep it really hydrated, and then don't pick, right?
No, don't peel.
I don't want to pick, don't peel it. It's the worst thing you can do.
Don't do it.
And the reason I wanted to do it is I have a lot of, well, not a lot of, but I'm paranoid about it, scarring from the chicken pox.
Right.
So can you talk to how it helps with scarring?
So with scarring, first and foremost, as soon as those little needles hit the skin, it's really rejuvenating. It's sending your skin into a wound response mode. So it's going to work to heal itself, kind of like a workout for the skin. Beyond that, it breaks up the scar tissue, if there is scar tissue, from acne scarring, any type of scarring, even stretch marks. But last and certainly not least, it's going to go down to where our dermal layer, where our collagen is stored, and stimulate that collagen and promote growth in the skin. So you're really getting a treatment from the outside in. It's working at all layers.
And I put this up on Instagram to get your questions, and a couple of them were, How do they time it with their Botox?
You can do it right before Botox, but if you've received any Botox or filler, you need to wait a minimum of 2 weeks to receive microneedling after.
Okay, and then what about if you've had the microneedling, how long do you have to wait till afterwards to have the Botox?
You could really, I would give it a couple days just because of let the skin kind of heal, but if you really wanted to, you could do it in the same appointment.
And what about retinals, facials, things like that?
So you want to wait at least 2 weeks with your most basic facial, and you would want to talk to whoever's doing your treatment and make sure, let them know what you're doing and what your plans are, because everything varies. But retinols and that, you want to discontinue use for at least 7 days, because as Eve mentioned, she's going through that dryness and we don't want to add to that. So no retinols. You just want to really give your skin a lot of nourishing and hydrating products.
Is there an average price point, or does it really vary on where you go?
It really varies on where you go. If you're going into a dermatologist or plastic surgeon's office, it is going to be a little higher priced. But I would say it ranges anywhere from like $200 to $300 on average.
And then how do you find a reputable person? Like, this is your face we're talking about needles.
Yeah,
How do you make sure, because we've heard some horror stories about lasers
Yes.
and so how do you find a safe person?
I
found you through referral, but everyone's from Vegas.
Referral, word of mouth is always great, right? But you want to look for someone who's working under a doctor's license. If they're working without a doctor or a medical director on staff, then it's not really seen in the aesthetic scope. So definitely make sure you're going to some sort of doctor's office, or that the person providing the treatment has medical direction.
Cool, I think we got all your questions answered. If we didn't, drop me a message at Spill the Tea and we'll try and get your questions answered. Thanks for watching.
Thank you guys.
Okay, now I'm finishing. I had to
I have
finish my
penguin in my
penguin.
teeth now.
I did. I had a
It was
penguin.
worth it.
Thanks so much, Eve. We appreciate that. That was cool. And I think we got away. Everything seemed to work. I think signal-wise for that.
Oh, I know. That was really lucky
yeah, got my
considering the
exercise
morning.
in for the day anyway.
Yeah, well done. That was great.
Thank you. That was
It's
kind of
nice to sit back on what, rather than me walking through myself. It's like, oh yeah,
there. You go.
it was all the
Exactly.
cool stuff.
So now, we were just saying that you've just bought a new house.
Yes, we did just before
Are
Christmas.
you doing the whole renovation thing?
Yes.
How's that going?
Well, it's a good question. Well, actually, it just started today, so there's been some setbacks. And as we speak, we have contractors in the house. So I'll find out later how it's going. It needs everything,
Oh yeah.
and it's very overwhelming. And I'm sure, we've never done anything like this before. You haven't either, have you? Your house was pretty great
Not
when
my
you moved
house,
in.
but I recently purchased a 1976 Airstream.
That's right.
Which I've already started to gut now. I don't have any pictures or anything, otherwise
That's
I'd show
so
you, but
cool. I heard that on the show the other day.
yeah, so but I'm enjoying it. I mean, it's going to take a while, and I've gone through lots of YouTube clips of other people who have done it and how they've said that it's a way more than you expect. I'm like, nah, not for me.
Everything is, right?
Well, yeah, but it's going to be for sure. But I'm the gutting part has been the most fun and the easiest part, I believe, because you're just tearing stuff out.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then
that's fun.
and then it'll get built back in. I am sort of filming it a little bit. I've done a few kind of time lapse things as well, but you should do that with your house.
Yes. Well, yeah, literally today's day one. So when I get home, we'll see whether, walls have been torn down. But
But when you're doing a bit yourselves or not really?
we've done some of it ourselves. I mean, I love painting and just, some of the hardware and stuff like that. The easy stuff we can do ourselves. And thank goodness you can look on YouTube now and just really get to learn anything. So we'll get there.
How did it feel when you realized you were owning property in another country? Was that sort of weird? Because I mean, like a lot of people do, we rent and different things. So getting that first property, did it feel like you were grounded, your feet were in concrete?
Well, you would think it would. And I think because it happened slowly for us, because we still had renters in there, which couldn't leave for another 2 months after we bought it. So, you sign the paperwork and it all felt very kind of anticlimactic,
Oh, okay.
It's like, oh, and now what?
I felt that
So then
when I bought my house, and I was like, oh my God, it felt so anchored. I take feet in concrete. That's sort of how it felt. But
I remember that when you bought your house.
you do.
I remember walking around before you picked it.
That's right. You came with
Yeah,
me on that little kind of
absolutely.
walkthrough.
It's a great house. Yeah.
Yeah.
Way better than our house. We have a lot of work to do.
I didn't have as much work to do as
Yeah.
you, but I haven't been
It'll be
there, so
fun.
you haven't invited me over yet.
I believe I have, but
Actually, you have
I will
invited
give you
me over.
another. I'll give you a second chance.
All right, thanks.
And that's it.
Appreciate it. Look at all this stuff, by the way.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm happy to just keep eating. This is going to be
It
the best
is.
day ever.
Isn't it? There's another thing we got going on other than chocolate this week as well.
Yes, and it's very important. It's National Pie Week in England.
What does that mean?
So I should have bought pies, really.
Yeah.
It means that you just eat more pies than usual,
I'm okay
which is
with that.
always good.
I'm all right.
I like pies, but I
Yeah.
don't eat meat anymore. But even I don't know. I mean, there must have been like a good vegetable type,
Oh yeah.
pie
I'm sure
that I
there
used to
is.
eat when I was younger.
The not so tasty variety, yeah.
I disagree. Do you miss anything? Do you still buy stuff, sort of UK stuff here, or I mean, I don't anymore. You
don't-
just kind of get used to not
I don't
having
seek it out. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
Sam does. She
does
makes
she?
sure she goes and gets
got
what
her
she needs.
favourite things.
But no, I don't particularly. But I go over to Amanda and Patrick, and they make some
Well,
great
of
stuff.
course.
So. But anyway,
Roast dinners we get, yeah.
I know. Well, I think we're probably gonna just kind of quit while we're ahead on this one because we've had so many technical things and. We don't want. I think Travis has been like, yeah, we need to make. We've done well, so yeah, I think it might be that time.
I think so.
But thank you so much for being here today. And,
Thank you for having me.
Hexing the show, that's fine. You made it happen. And we'll see you guys next week on Spill the Tea. Have a great week.
See you soon.